Today we are going to look at one more problem on backtracking method. It is the problem of a Hamiltonian cycle to find the Hamiltonian cycle in a given graph. I hope you remember the example that I gave while doing the regular classes. Example of a bridge of a place where there is a river and it forms two islands, and to pass through the island there are 7 bridges, and the problem is that the person should start from a starting point, one starting point, and he should cover or he should travel through all the bridges, and he should come to the same bridge, okay, or same starting point. So that was a problem that we saw in the regular classes. Okay, so based on that itself, we are going to see this Hamiltonian cycle problem. Consider a graph G. It's a set of vertex and edges. Let it be a connected graph with n vertices. Okay, let the graph be a connected graph and let it contain n vertices. A Hamiltonian cycle is a round trip path. Along n edges. It's a round trip path along n edges of G that visits every vertex once and returns to its starting point or starting position. So you should be able to cover all the vertices, and you should make use of n number of edges, and you should start from one point and you should come to the same starting point covering all the vertices. If such a cycle exists, we call that cycle as a Hamiltonian cycle. If you take this example here, let the starting vertex be 1. If I start from 1, so can I cover all the vertices and can I come back to 1? So is it possible? So we'll see. I can start from 1. I can go, there are 2 paths from 1. I can choose 2 or I can choose 7. I'll go to 2, come to 8, I'll come to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and back to 1. So this covers all the vertices exactly once, not more than once. So the condition is visit every vertex once, only once. Okay. So 1, 2, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 1. So this is one Hamiltonian cycle. So likewise, there may be any number of Hamiltonian cycles. Okay. Now the problem is to identify whether a given graph contains a Hamiltonian cycle or not. If you take the example of graph 2, so if you start from 1, you can move to 2, then to 3, then to 4. You cannot once again come back to 2 because 2 is already visited. I cannot visit 2 and there is no other choice. Okay. If I take the path from 1 to 5, I can move from 1 to 5, 5 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 3. I cannot come back to 1. There is no path. Okay. So this graph 2 doesn't contain a Hamiltonian cycle, whereas graph 1 contains Hamiltonian cycles. Now, how to identify that a graph contains a Hamiltonian cycle? We will see the theoretical part. Then later we will see an example and we will see the coding part. The method used here is backtracking method. Consider a solution vector x. X is a solution vector. It's an array where xi represents the ith visited vertex of the cycle. For example, if you look at the diagram, the same diagram, so this is x. It's an x vector. So it has values from x1 till xn. N is the number of vertices. There are totally 8 vertices in this diagram, in this graph. Therefore, it is from x1 till xn or x8 in this example. Okay. And what each value of x, for example, xi, I'll consider it as xi. I takes values from 1 to 8. So what each value tells? So that is this point, where xi represents the ith visited vertex. That means if I is 3, then it means that it is the third, 8 is the third vertex to be visited, starting from this first vertex. I is 5. It means that 6, x of 5 is 6. 6 is the fifth vertex to be visited in the series. Okay, so what it is written in this x is x1 is, it is the first vertex to be visited, that is 1. You are starting from 1. Which is the second vertex to be visited? It is 2. Which is the third vertex to be visited? From 2 you are visiting 8. This is the fourth vertex, it is 7. Then 6, then 5, then 4, then 3. So like this, you are supposed to store the solution in a vector called as x, and each index will tell the ith vertex to be visited. So this is your solution vector. So in this vector, we are going to store the solution. Now, second point, we have to determine possible vertex for xk if x1 to xk minus 1 have already been chosen. For example, x1 starting from x1 till xk minus 1, if the vertices are chosen for any value of k, then what you are supposed to do, you have to determine the possible vector for vertex for xk. For example, if you consider x1 as the starting one and this is xk minus 1, that means you have identified five vertices to be in the cycle. Then what you're supposed to do next is you're supposed to identify the next possible vertex for I is equal to 6. So which is the sixth vertex you are supposed to find. So that is what in every step it happens. So if x1, what is the next vertex? That is x of k, xk. So that you have to find. So what is the next vertex? That is x of k, that you have to find. But if this is x of k, the previous one is xk minus 1. In this example, I have taken this. X1 to xk minus 1 is found. You are supposed to now find the xk. So for that, to find xk, what you are supposed to do? Consider x1 is equal to 1, the starting vertex of the cycle. So x1, x of 1 is 1. So it is always the starting vertex. Since we follow some convention, we assume that we start from lower number vertex. So it is starting from 1. Xk can be any vertex v. So now I have to choose xk. What xk can be? It can be any vertex v that is distinct from x1 to xk minus 1. 1 point. What it tells? You have to choose this xk in such a way that this whatever vertex you are choosing, it should not appear between x1 to xk minus 1. So there are vertices 1, 2, 8, 7 and 6. If I am choosing the next vertex, make sure that this vertex that what you are choosing, it should not be the part of x1 to xk minus 1. Okay, so there should be a unique vertex. So 1 point. Second point is, and v is connected by an edge to xk minus 1. And what it tells is, say x1 to xk minus 1, the vertices are already chosen. And all these vertices, so what it tells, I have chosen first vertex, this is the second vertex. It means that from 1 to 2 there is an edge. From 2 to 8 there is an edge. From 8 to 7 there is an edge. From 7 to 6 there is an edge. Okay. Now, whatever new vertex you are choosing, it is vertex V. Now, what it tells is, whenever you choose a vertex V, it should always have an edge from xk to xk minus 1. So from 6 to 5, there should be an edge. So only those vertices you are supposed to choose. So what you have to do in the program, then you have to make use of a adjacency matrix. And by looking at adjacency matrix, you can come to know whether the chosen vertex 5, whether 5 has an edge from 6, that is xk minus 1. And V is connected by an edge to xk minus 1. So that is the meaning of that. One more point. Xn can only be the one remaining vertex. What is xn? For example, so n is in this example, n is 8. Okay, number of vertices is 8. So this x8 is nothing but xn. So it is the last vertex to be filled, last position to be filled. Okay, now when you are filling the last vertex, please make some point, note some point. Xn can only be the one remaining vertex. When you choose value for xn, then there will be only one vertex remaining in the graph. There will be only one vertex and there will be no other choices. Next point. And it must be connected to both xn minus 1 and x1. It should be connected to both xn minus 1, that is the previous one, and x1. x1 is the starting. That means when you choose this vertex, if it is connected to, it should be connected to xn minus 1 point. That means there should be an edge from 4 to 3. One more point is there should be an edge from 3 to x1. What is x1? It is 1. x1 is 1. So from 3 to 1 there is an edge. If all these conditions satisfies, then we can tell that a Hamiltonian cycle exists. Hope you understood this theoretical part. Based on this itself, the algorithm is written. So in short, I will tell. So x of I tells the ith vertex in the cycle, and if I want to choose xk, then it should be a unique vertex apart from x1 to xk minus 1. So this 5 should not come in the previous vertex set. And one more thing is, if it is the last vertex you are choosing, then there will be only one vertex remaining, and this vertex should have an edge from xn minus 1. From 4 to 3 there should be an edge, and also from xn to x1. That means from 3 to 1 there should be an edge. So then only we can tell that there exists a Hamiltonian cycle. Look at this example. We will try to use the backtracking method, and we will try to derive the state space tree, and we will see how to get the solution from this. Now, as usual, we consider that the starting vertex be the lower valued vertex. So here in ascending order, A comes first. So my starting vertex is A. A is the starting vertex. So from A, there are 3 paths. One is to B, other one is to C, other one is to D. So I can choose any of the 3 paths. So I should start from. So all the 3 paths have to be chosen if I don't find any Hamiltonian cycle. So I should start from the low value vertex. That is, I'll start from B according to the ascending order. B, C, D, lower is B. So B is chosen. From B, which are the 2 options? Which are the other options left? So there are options like it is adjacent to A, C, and F. A is already part of the cycle, so you don't consider this A. C and F is there. C comes first because it is smaller. Choose C. Next, from C, it is connected to 4 vertices: A, B, D, and E. A, B already comes in the path. Leave that. Consider D and E. So out of D and E, D is smallest. So choose D. Okay. Next, D is connected to A, C, E. A, C, and E. A and C are already part of the path. Don't consider that. Then the only vertex remaining is E. Choose E. Next, E is adjacent to D, C, and F. Out of D, C, and F, D and C are already it is part of the path cycle, and hence don't consider this. The only left node is vertex is F. Okay, from F. So since this is the nth vertex, so what the algorithm tells us, if it is the nth vertex, there are totally 5 plus 1, 6 vertices, and in this cycle you are choosing the 6th vertex. Now when you choose the 6th vertex, what it tells us, there should be an edge from the previous vertex, that is from E. There is an edge, it is true, and there should be an edge to x1. X1 is the starting vertex. From F to A there should be an edge. There is no edge from F to A. That means what? You are in the nth vertex. You are in the nth vertex, and that condition doesn't satisfy that there should be an edge from the nth vertex to the starting vertex. Okay, this is a dead end. There is no way to go. So from F, there is no way to go to A. So that is a dead end. Now what you should do is you should come back to E. Backtrack now. Backtrack to E. When you backtrack to E, if you look at this point and you backtrack to E, is there any other path from E? So there is a path to C and D. There is a path to C and D, isn't it? But C and D are already part of the cycle. That means it is a part of the path expected cycle. Okay. Now you cannot consider this C and D. Therefore, once again, it is a dead end. Once again, you backtrack to the previous step. You backtrack to D. Okay. Now, what is D adjacent to? D is adjacent to A, C, and E, out of which you have chosen E once. So don't choose this. A and C are already part of the path. A and C are already part of the path. Therefore, even D is a dead end. There is no other path. Backtrack to C. When you backtrack to C, which are the nodes that are adjacent? What is adjacent? A, B, D, and E. A, B, D, and E. Okay. You have chosen A and B. A and B is already part of this path until C. Okay. And D and E, you have chosen D once. So you have passed through D. And the only option left is you can choose E. So this is E is one option for starting from C. So I can go to E. When you are at E, now there are two options, D or F, because D and F didn't come in the path. So C has already come in the path. You don't consider this. D and F, which is smaller? D is smaller. Choose D. From D, you are at D now. Adjacent vertices A, C, and E. A, C, and E all are part of the path. There is no route or there is no path further for this D. D is a dead end. When D is a dead end, now you have to backtrack. You can backtrack to E. So backtrack to E. When you were in E, you have chosen D. The other path is you can move to F, because F is not chosen at in this path. You can choose F. From F. From F. From F, there are two paths. One is to B, other one is to E. B and E both are part of the expected cycle. That means even F is a dead end. You cannot go further. And all the vertices is not yet covered. Still one vertex is remaining in this. So this is a dead end. So if you find a dead end, go back to E, go back to C. So go back to E means come here. When you come here, there is no other path. Okay, D and F, they have exhausted. They have chosen that D and F. Go back to C. Go back to C once again. When you are at C, if you look at this, you have chosen this D and E path. D and E path are already chosen. So you cannot go further in the using the C vertex. So once again, go back to B, the previous vertex. When you go back to B, you have covered only two vertices. And when you were at B, you had chosen C, isn't it? You have chosen C, and you found that choosing C, there is no solution. So you can go for the next higher vertex. So that is F. So from B, go to F. Okay. Next, from F, you can visit E, because this is the only path. B is already visited. E can be visited. B already comes in the path. So E can be visited now. From E, there are two options. Either it can go to C or D. That means in alphabetically, I should visit C. Yes, from C. From C, there are four options now. A, B, D, and E. A, B, E. A, B, and E are already in the path. Only option left is D. Okay. Now observe this. This D is the nth vertex. This D is the nth vertex. Okay. And nth means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sixth vertex. So what the algorithm tells, when you are choosing the nth vertex, if the nth vertex is connected to the first vertex, that is x1, there is an edge from D to A. It is true. That means you can reach back to A, and that is the solution. So you should write the path like this. The Hamiltonian cycle is A, B, F, E, C, D, A. So that is the solution for this problem. So this is how, using backtracking method, we are supposed to find the solution or find the Hamiltonian cycle for the given graph, connected graph. Now we shall see the algorithm. Let us understand the algorithm. Uh, Hamiltonian is a function. It takes k. K is the vertex number. So what we learned is in the previous steps, always the first vertex is the lower numbered vertex. So in this example, I have taken the alphabets. If I take the numbers starting from 1, then always x1 will be 1. So if you look at the previous diagram, if you look at this, so x1 is always 1, x1 is always 1. So these are different values for k. So this is xk, whatever you are finding, these are xk values. Okay, and what k gets the values of? K gets the values from 1 to n or 1 to 8 in this example. And always we start from vertex number 1, this is assumed. Okay, that means what? Whenever we make a call for the function, before that, we must be sure that this x1 is already set to 1, and we should make a call for the Hamiltonian function by passing 2 for the value of k. K value is 2, k value will be 2. Now coming to this function. This algorithm uses the recursive formulation of backtracking to find all the Hamiltonian cycles. So it not just finds one Hamiltonian cycle, it finds all the Hamiltonian cycles of the graph. So the example what I have shown in the previous step, so this finds only one Hamiltonian cycle. So if you look at this, see this is one of the Hamiltonian cycle. So this cycle you have obtained via B from A to B. You can choose from A to C also. There is a path from A to C. So while backtracking, if you come back to B, you will find another path. If you come back to A, from A you will find another path. You can use that also, isn't it? So you can find more than one Hamiltonian cycle. So this solution gives only one cycle. And what this statement tells us, this algorithm finds all the Hamiltonian cycles, not just one. The graph is stored as adjacency matrix G. So G is a two-dimensional matrix. It is a 8 cross 8 matrix in our example. If you take the first example, it's a 8 cross 8 matrix. If you take a second example, it's a 6 cross 6 matrix. It contains zeros and ones. All cycles begin at node 1. So this is our assumption. Next, repeat. There is an infinite loop. What it does? Generate the values for x of k. Generate the values for x of k. So how it is generated? It makes a call for one more function called as next value of k. What is k here? We have passed 2 for k because x of 1 is 1. We know that, and we are supposed to find what is the next vertex to be chosen. Okay, we have to identify what is x2. So k is 2. This is next value function. Next value of 2. 2 comes in the place of k. So we'll have to take one. We have to take one array x, that is vector x. It is from 1 to k minus 1 is a path of k minus 1 distinct vertices. So whenever a new value comes, k comes. So what it means, from 1 till k minus 1, already there are some vertices that are chosen. Okay, and there is a path from 1 to k minus 1. If x of k is equal to 0, if while calculating, if you get x of k is equal to 0, then no vertex has as yet been assigned to x of k. It means that it is a dead end. It's a dead end and there is no path further. If the value of x of k calculated is 0, then there is no path further. Then you have to backtrack. After execution, x of k is assigned to the next highest numbered vertex. That means you have to check from the first vertex. You have to check which vertex is adjacent. If it is adjacent, for example, I'll show this. Think that you are now using this method, this example, and x of 1 is 1 initially, and all the other values are set to 0. All the values are set to 0. Now you have to find x. What is x of 2? Okay. Now what is the first step is, you will first choose, you will first increment the value of 0. Here it is 0. We will increment to 1. So after incrementing to 1, you will check whether 1 is already present in the previous subset. So it is already present. So you will increment it to 2. You will check whether 2 is present. So 2 is not present in the previous subset. And one more thing what you say is you will check whether there is an edge from 1 to 2. If there is an edge from 1 to 2, then 2 is chosen. Okay. Now, if you take x of 3, there is a 0 here. First, you will start from 1. First, you will start from 1. So 1, the 1 is already present. You will take 2. 2 is already present. You will take 3. 3 is not present. 3 may be one of the option for this. 3 may be one of the option for this, and 3 may be entered here. And from 2 to 3, there is an edge. So this 8 has been chosen because this is one of the solutions. Similarly, there may be other solutions also. There may be other solutions also. Okay, so 3 may be the solution for this. So like this, starting from 1, you go on incrementing, check whether it is present in the previous subset, and if it is not present, you can include that only if there is an edge from xk minus 1, that is from 2 to 3. Next, after execution, xk is assigned to the next highest numbered vertex, which does not already appear in 1 to k minus 1. That should not appear in 1 to k minus 1. And one more thing is, it should be connected by an edge to x of k minus 1. That is from the previous vertex to x of k, there should be an edge. Otherwise, x of k is 0. If none of the conditions satisfies, then x of k will be set to 0. When it is set to 0, you have to backtrack. If k is equal to n, that means when you are finding the value for the last index, when you are finding the value for the last vertex, when you are identifying which is the last vertex, then in addition, one more thing you have to check whether x of k, that last vertex, is connected to the first vertex. So this is the basic idea behind this backtracking method. Now let us see what happens here. X of k is equal to x of k plus 1. I told this. We have to increment. X of k will be currently 0. X of k is 2. X of 2 is 0. X of 2 plus 1, it becomes 1. So modulus of n plus 1. So that what we are considering the modulus, so that after 8, it should come back to 0. Okay. Next, if x of k is 0, that means what? If x of k is 0, there is no solution. Then you have to return. If x of k is not 0, if it is a positive integer, then what you're supposed to do is you have to check whether there is an edge. You have to check whether there is an edge from k minus 1 to x of k. So through which you are checking that you are using this adjacency matrix G. So x of k minus 1 is the previous vertex, and x of k is the current vertex 2. From previous one is 1. From 1 to 2, is there an edge? Is not equal to 0 means if there is an edge. If there is an edge, then enter into this. Otherwise, don't enter. Just go back to the loop once again. Increment from 2, it increments to 3. So like that. If there is an edge, there is an in this example there is an edge from 1 to 2. Therefore, it comes to this for loop. What it checks from j is equal to 1 to k minus 1. That means the previous subset till k minus 1. So in that, you are checking whether x of j takes the values from 1 to k minus 1. So whether that is equal to x of k. X of k is what you are choosing now, x of 2. Okay, so that whether it is a part of the previous subset, you are checking here. Okay, if it is a part of the previous subset, if it is equal, then break. So what happens to break? It comes out of this for loop. When it comes out of the for loop, so for two reasons it comes out of the for loop. For one reason is the for loop may exhaust. J may take all the values from 1 to k minus 1. Then also for loop will exit. One more case is when this if condition becomes true. There are two things. When the if condition becomes true, j will not reach the end. J will not reach the end. That means j will not reach k. So if j is equal to k, it means what? It means what? It has checked all the vertices starting from 1 to k minus 1, and it has not found any same vertices, and hence that vertex what you have chosen, it is distinct vertex. Okay, so that you are deciding here. If j is equal to k, then it is a distinct vertex, And one more thing what you have to check is whether that k is less than n, whether that k is lesser than n. For example, if you take the consider this diagram. So my k, if the k value is 8 here, then it is equal to n. If the k value is not 8, then it will be lesser than n. It will be one of the values from 1 to 7. If it is one option is if it is lesser than n. One more option is even if it is lesser than n, it is a valid vertex that is chosen. Or if k is equal to n, think that k is n. Now it is 8. K is equal to 8. You are finding the last vertex. When you are finding the last vertex, one more condition what you have to satisfy is there should be an edge from x of n, whatever vertex you have chosen at the last. So from that vertex to the first vertex x of n, there should be an edge. It should not be equal to 0 in the adjacency matrix G. So if that is the case, then return. Okay, then return. Then x of k, whatever k that is chosen here, so that is the next vertex to be chosen. So this will return to the previous function. So what happens in the previous function? Let us see. So now next value has chosen one value of k. For example, think that k is 2. Now it checks whether x is equal to 0. No, x is not is equal to 0. It comes to next one. If it checks whether k is equal to n, whether k is n, no, k is not equal to n. It is 2. K is 2 now. Okay. Now then, if k is if this condition, if k is equal to n doesn't satisfy, it is false. It comes to next one. It makes the call for Hamiltonian the same function by passing k plus 1. That means now k plus 1 means it becomes 3. Now we are finding the third vertex. We have found the second vertex. X of 2 is found. Now we have to find the third vertex. So like this, it will check the next value using this next value function. Okay, whenever there is a dead end, think that there is a dead end. Whenever there is a dead end, this x of k is equal to 0 becomes true. When it becomes true, it returns. What is this return? It returns to the previous step. When it returns to the previous step, it is nothing but the previous call of this recursive function. Okay. Next, finally, when k is equal to n, when think that k has got the value of 8 in our example, then k is n now. So you have found all the results. When you have found all the results, then what you are supposed to is you are supposed to write the value of x from 1 to n. You'll be printing all the values of x1 till xn. That is x8 in our example. So all these are written, and once again it goes back to the previous recursive call and it finds the other solution if it has any. So like this, the Hamiltonian function will work based on the recursive function, and which is based on the technique of backtracking.